to Otaku Shot, where's nothing but liquor and anime. I'm Shane.
I'm Scott.
Cheers. They're fake cheers. We have no beer.
Don't tell him. Don't
We
tell
just
him.
have alcohol containers. Anyway, what are we drinking tonight, Scott?
It's Southern Comfort, and boy, do I feel comforted.
Good. I don't like the South though, so
Yeah, I don't feel too Southern.
I don't feel too much comfort in the
Yeah.
South. They kind of put me on edge.
Yeah, that's kind of true. We need to find some Northern comfort next time.
Okay, well that's great. This is Otaku Shot. We have not recorded now since like May, actually. We've been real busy.
Yeah.
And getting together has been a struggle. And getting together also to record has been a struggle because by the time we get there and we do want to record, I've had some technical difficulties as well as just being tired. Just been real tired after a while. You know?
Oh, I know.
Oh, Scott knows. He's the main one who's really tired in this situation.
I work 12-hour days sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a pain.
Not even sometimes, like a lot.
Yeah.
You're like, by the way, I went to work at like 7, didn't get out until like 9. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, your job's the worst.
Yeah. But this isn't about my job. We're here to talk about anime, damn it.
Yes, we are. In this episode, so we haven't had a chance to really touch up on summer anime, as well as finishing up what we wanted to do for last anime season, which was spring. So this
really
is
the last season was spring? Are you
I
sure?
knew you were gonna do something like that too.
Dude, you shouldn't have fucked up. You knew I was gonna go for it.
I just figured you were gonna say it doesn't matter. Anyway, so we're gonna touch up on what happened in spring, move on to summer. We were actually waiting a little bit because we were trying to get some like sense of what we were gonna watch this season, and also we were just waiting for Attack on Titan to air, so we could talk about that as well.
The number one anime I've been waiting to.
Yeah,
to
I've been
watch
super
this
excited
season.
for it. Obviously, most people have been. Anyway, so last season I don't think you finished Darling.
I think I never watched the last episode, dude. After they introduced all the verm
the
stuff, I was done.
As you know from this podcast, expect spoilers. This is a pretty spoilerish episode. We're gonna be talking about the spoilers from last season. Just if you didn't watch last season.
I mean, you had a bunch of time to catch up.
Yeah, you really did. That's on you, to be honest. But, so, Darling is what I'm going to cover first. Obviously, Darling, for those who did watch Darling, some people had very, negative opinions on it just because it was, in my opinion, so I really liked Darling for a really long time. I thought it was going very well in terms of how they did the story. And then all of a sudden, aliens were introduced, and the plot got a little iffy. And then I was like, "Well, that was shitty." And then,
like, they kind of made it feel like everything they had built up for that whole season didn't really matter at all.
Yeah, I read a lot of things that were like, pretty much like way to make an entire series and do a lot of world building, and then just completely crush that world building.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of how I feel on it. In my opinion, though, so, like, I didn't really have a lot of hope after that happened for Darling, but seeing the last episode and what happened in it, like, kind of evened out all the shit that happened in it.
I mean, I guess if they can make it all go to shit in a few episodes, they can remedy it in a few.
Pretty much.
That's how it works, right?
They were pretty much just like, alright, well, we fucked up, I guess. So
alright,
let's
here's some
fix
fan
this.
service with what the characters are doing now.
Kind of. Like, here's what relationship this was. And then they're like, yo, let's
here's what
do
you need to get closure over the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do some reincarnation. Get those guys in there. Darling was fine. I had more hope for it when I first started. And I expected actually more people to die. And
really?
Yeah, well, like, they're building it up as if, like, people could die. Like, Goro almost died, like, in the beginning, if you remember.
I don't.
There's that whole part where, like, he got, like, trapped inside of, like, basically, like,
Oh,
the
yeah,
nucleus.
he was gonna, like...
Explode his
Yeah,
mech,
yeah.
and then they saved him. But, like...
See, I think that sets up the precedent of, like,
They
none of the
won't
main
die?
characters are not gonna die. Like,
I still feel like they were, like, Hiro did die for, like, a minute, and then he was saved by 02. And then
and also, other person was almost dead and then was saved, and then, see, it's just, like, that's a pattern. Like,
yeah, but, like, technically in the end of the series, Hiro and 02 did die.
Oh, true enough.
So,
I didn't
like,
watch it, though. So.
I know you didn't. So, like...
Spoilers, dude, come on.
It's like, fuck you, dude. I gave the warning
I'm sorry.
before we started. That meant you two. Anyway, Darling was fine. I liked the ending. It was in a way to me like a good, like, okay, like, you've had like a weird time watching this. Here's like some final amends we need to make with ending this show, and then we'll be done with it. And I was like, all right, that's fine. So, like, I made it pretty much to the end. I made it to the end, and I was just like, okay, I'm not going to stop 3 episodes before it's going to end.
Yeah, it's like you already came that far.
Yeah, I might as well finish it.
Although I think it's funny the way you phrase it is like, you made it to the... Like, it was a struggle to get
like,
there.
it wasn't. Like, making it, like, it was just a struggle to the point after it became kind of confusing.
Yeah.
Because, like, it did become
Yeah,
confusing. It got to the point where it was like, oh, like, we were dealing with, like, all these Calixers or whatever the fuck they're called. And, like, this is their world. And, like, they were having to deal with all the stuff that was going on with, like, we don't know if we're going to grow up. And, like, the world around us and the society we live in are weird. And then all those weird guys that were, like, at the top in it
like
were
the
killed.
organization for, like,
Yeah.
Ape or...
Yeah, 8. Yeah, they were killed.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it was like, oh, well, that's good. I guess I'll continue. And then it was like, oh, 02 became a mech. Oh, that's weird.
That's cool.
I guess I'll continue it. Oh, they're having, like, a life now and, like, growing up and having kids. Oh, well, that's cool. Good last episode. I don't know. Not a lot I can say on Darling. Like, it was fine. It was...
Yeah.
I was so into it, though, for a long time. Like, watching each episode made me feel good about watching it. And then after they introduced aliens, I was like, well, shit, you just killed everything I liked.
I mean, I think it's a classic example of, like, not having a lot of interesting ideas that they want to explore and get into, but not distributing them over the proper amount of time. Like, the pacing was just off. And once it got towards the end and they had to start, like, it felt much more crammed. I felt like we got a lot more, like, forced exposition on what was going on as opposed to, like, clues and just, like, things going on in the world and in the atmosphere and, like, things that you would even see, like, in the scenery that kind of gave you an idea of, like the world building you were mentioning. Like, they actually did a really good job with it at the beginning, but then it felt like they had too many ideas they wanted to put in.
I can see that.
That's what caused it
Yeah,
to
definitely.
ended up being, like, feeling so rushed and confusing, is that you're just getting bombarded with, like, and here's why this is a thing, and this is that, and exposition.
And I was like, well, shit, I'm lost. I'll tell you what. What else did we finish? The SAO Alternative Gun Gale, which we didn't actually talk about a lot in this podcast
because it's sword art and
yeah, we kind of like whatever. But like, it was bad. I didn't like it.
I started off like fucking loving it, but
I didn't even really start off loving it. I was like, okay,
this
is weird. Also, her gun like came to life.
Yeah, it was definitely sword art. I was
not even definitely sword art. There has never been a time in the sword art series where a weapon has come to life and talked to them in a kawaii voice.
That's okay. It's true.
Beachan, I'll protect you. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
I've meant more in the sense of like like some weird force outside of the game having an impact on the game itself. I don't know.
I just like, I also hated what's her name who ended up being like the idol that she liked.
Yeah.
Pito. Yeah, Pito ended up being like the idol she liked, and I was like, okay, I guess that was cool, but also like that was very much like definitely was gonna happen.
Yeah, I could have
like,
told you that from the first episode.
Like the moment like she was introduced and like you met this like obviously she had like a liking for this superstar, this idol. And I figured, like, this person's definitely going to be somebody that's going to be relevant later. And then after they were like, oh, it's at her concert and stuff like that, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, well, that's her. And, like...
Yeah, no doubt about it.
They made it seem like it wasn't going to... And then they tried to, like, give you that little trick in the end of the series where it was
and
like...
you're like, I know.
Yeah.
I've seen so many shit, like, I know how it goes.
Like, we all know.
You can't trick me. You can't trick me, Sword Art.
Either way, it was garbage. I'm really hoping that... So, like, this was said a while ago, and this is kind of off topic, but, like, this is for actual SAO.
Oh, gosh.
Like, they're trying to make a progressive anime.
What's that mean?
There's the Sword Art Progressive series.
Okay.
I told you about that, right?
I think so. That sounds like familiar now.
It's a series that was, basically the writer himself for SAO, like, did not like the story for SAO. And, like, since he wrote it in, like, 2001, he was like, I feel like my writing has gotten a lot better since then, and I actually don't like what I did with the series, so I want to revamp the series. So he made SAO Progressive, where they didn't skip any levels or anything, and, like, you got to see the full story of them in there for a full 2 years, and it's, like, about basically, instead of in the series, like, you know, Asuna and Kirito didn't really even get into a relationship until, like, level, like, floor 40.
Yeah, something like that.
And, like, in this, like, they're constantly with each other already, and it's only floor 4. And, like, I'm really hoping that they don't introduce that kid, Yui, for a while.
Yeah,
so,
it seemed, that was a whole weird...
That was another weird thing.
Like,
SAO is weird.
Kid.
Hey, here's our kid. Here's our
digital kid.
I guess we're raising this digital kid now.
Also, apparently, Kirito can make incredible technology to make an AI, like, be able to view the world. And doesn't he build, like, a drone or some shit for her to, like...
Yeah, but also, like, remember during the movie where, like, AI was, like, augmented reality now?
That's
and,
true.
like, became AR and, like, everybody was fighting in the real world. And somehow, like... They had, like, better abilities somehow, and they had connects for, like, their gear.
It's just a whole...
Even though you need, like, actual physical prowess to be able to do any of that, but, like, whatever, it's anime. Moving on, though, I'm trying to think if there's anything that was even, like, finished besides that we watched.
Shokugeki?
Oh, yeah, Shokugeki.
I mean, I guess that's continuing on, but...
It is continuing on, but did you like the ending?
I don't remember what happened.
So, like, if you remember in the ending, like, basically this was, like, the whole ending arc that they ended on where, they,
like I remember it was the team
Shokugeki. Yeah, the team Shokugeki. So, what happened was they had the first round, which, like, you finally got to see what Ishii could do. Then it moved on to Soma versus, I forgot her name, but she's one of the, I think she's, like, the, like, 6th or 5th seat. And she's actually, like, childhood friends with Ishiki. And she was, like, really into, like, what was it? What was their battle on? Some type of noodle? I don't remember.
Is it like Soba?
Soba. Yeah. So they had their Soba battle. And, of course, Soma won.
Yeah, of course.
And then they kind of just, like, ended it there. And then, like, in the manga... So, like, I'm caught up with it. Well, for the most part. I think I'm, like, 2 chapters behind. But, like, it's kind of weird because I was expecting them to continue for, like, the rest of that battle. Because it didn't, like, stop after that. The battle continued and went on for a lot of chapters.
Yeah, it's
that was a big arc. And, like, the arc, like, just now ended. And it's weird to think because... like, so you remember how everyone got expelled?
Yeah.
And, like, it's weird. I was going back on my phone, and I took, like, a screenshot of, like, that chapter where they got expelled. And I took that screenshot in, like, November of 2016.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so they're, like, 2 years behind the curve of when that when that chapter came out. So, like, now they're, like, pretty decently far ahead. Like, they're catching up to the manga pretty fast. I always forget how anime is like, oh my god, you're opening a soda.
I'm trying to do it all discreet. Like, if you see me, like, really carefully trying to not make a lot
Just open it fast. Oh, great. That's good for the audio. Great.
I was trying to do it all sneaky.
You should have just took mine.
I kind of
We're already drinking off the same alcohol.
Yeah, it's fine.
It doesn't matter. I should have gotten, I guess, not cans, which I don't get how that couldn't happen. Anyway, but it's also weird because looking at a ton of different anime, like, I realized that that's, like, a few years ago. There was something else I saw recently, and I was like, holy shit, that's... for Attack on Titan, actually. I saw, like, a panel for this... I saw a panel for this current season, and I realized that I took a screenshot in, like, the beginning of 2016. And, like, now they're just now... Obviously, Attack on Titan's slower. Yeah. Because they're just now getting into everything. But that's great, because since they're so far ahead now, they have so much room to just go through and do everything. Yeah. Like, they're not nearly close enough to where the manga is.
Yeah, they're not, like, it's going to take them a long while to reach that point where they have to, like, either... I mean, they're always going to have to wait a long-ass time in between seasons, but...
If they only do, like, 13 episodes a season, it's going to take them at least 2 more seasons to get even near where they are right now. And, like, because you still have, like, this current arc, and then, like, there's, like, the next gigantic arc. You know what I'm talking about.
I know.
And then we're in pretty much the current arc right now, which is going on. And, like, that's still been going for a while. Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. Anyway, Shokugeki was good. Obviously, Shokugeki's one of the... Still love it. Still love Shokugeki and what it has to offer. Waiting for next season. I don't know when that will be, but it'll happen.
We'll Google that after the show.
You know how it goes. Yeah. There's a lot of anime that I'm like, oh my god, it was going so strong for a really long time, and then it stopped, and then I just haven't heard about it since. Haikyuu being one of them. Because I remember Haikyuu got like 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah, when were those made?
Like early or late 2016? Or okay. I mean early 2000, like late 2016 to early 2017.
Okay, like that's when it.
Oh yeah, okay. So I'm pretty sure season 10.
I want to see season 10 of
Jesus
IQ.
Christ! I hope to God it does not go that long. Then again, it is like, I guess, like considered kind of like a shonen type anime.
I guess
it's by Shonen Jump. And like standard.
I don't know if there's enough.
There's a lot of content. They're like really, really far ahead from where they show is.
I mean, hell, dude, I'd watch 10 seasons of Haikyuu.
I'd definitely watch 10 seasons of Haikyuu.
Up, like, even if it didn't keep up, I'd fucking watch Haikyuu.
I would hope.
I watched the alternate sword art all the way through.
Me too.
I'd watch Haikyuu. Fuck yeah.
I watched 300 episodes of Bleach. And Bleach was like the absolute worst. God, Bleach was so bad. Just because they were just like, oh, I guess we'll like stop doing.
Yeah, I guess we'll stop doing
manga.
World.
They're like, whatever. We'll do whatever. The manga doesn't matter. Do you know what doesn't matter? Canon stuff. We'll just do our own thing.
Oh.
Yeah. You know how it goes. It's like watching Boruto. You don't want to.
What's even going on with that? I haven't.
Apparently, it's been really, really good lately.
Really? I'm gonna have to go through and like catch up.
I want to catch up, but then I'm like also like, fuck, I'm like 30 episodes behind.
Well, we'll do it together.
I don't want to do that. I need to just catch up with it and stay caught up with it. That way, it's just like, oh, like even if I like don't like what's going on, it's 1 episode a week.
It sounds like a fucking job.
It is my job. It's my job to keep up with this Naruto universe, I guess. Which I don't know. Like apparently it's good, but like I don't really have a lot of interest if Sasuke's not involved. If Sasuke is not involved, you can kiss this show goodbye. If Sasuke ever dies, that is the end of Naruto for me.
Like Sasuke can die.
Unless Sasuke, dies and then somehow is resurrected later as the main protagonist of this show, I will not watch it. I'll watch it then if he's the protagonist.
We need to email the writers of the Naruto franchises.
Yeah, Masashi Kishimoto.
And let them know.
We'll let Kishimoto know that
Sasuke, he better be around.
So we're making a new series right now.
It's called Sasuke.
It's just about Sasuke. It has nothing to do with the Naruto universe or anything. We're watching him cook dinner, do stuff for his kid. Made me go out and get groceries.
Does he go out and get groceries super fast and cool?
So he uses no, he just kind of goes and gets groceries.
So he just in the show.
He may use some ninja abilities to get there quickly and back, but besides that, when he's picking out what to get, he's using a grocery list.
He uses the Sharingan to find the best deals.
Now that's a show I'd watch. Better than Boruto, to be honest.
Probably.
You saw Naruto, you saw kind of a little bit of Boruto. Now here's Sasuke. So we got rid of Boruto completely. This is just all about Sasuke.
Everyone's favorite part of the show is Sasuke.
You're right. You're honestly right. The reason why I stayed with Naruto for tens of years is that Sasuke was there. I think I watched Naruto for 10 years. For a good portion
of that time, he wasn't there, and that was the plot of the show.
I think
trying to get him there.
See, isn't that funny that the plot is driven by needing this character in it?
By needing Sasuke. So pretty much Naruto is already about Sasuke.
Yeah. I think it's funny because in the beginning of Shippuden, it took Sasuke I think at least 100 episodes to be known again, and I remember there's just an arc for 20 after this 100 episodes of slight filler and Naruto being an idiot. You finally got 20 episodes of just pure Sasuke.
Oof,
and that made up for it entirely.
Oh, it did that. It took good Sasuke.
It took 100 episodes for me to enjoy this. I think it's funny because I'll drop some anime after watching 2 episodes, but then I'll watch 100 episodes of Naruto just to watch 20 episodes of Sasuke. That is how much this man means to me.
That's it's a 1 in 5 ratio. So
that's not a good ratio either way.
I could stand 5 episodes of a bad show for one good one if it was real good. How good is Sasuke though? That's the question.
He's really good.
See, it's a good payoff then.
I guess it's a good payoff, but then it's
or maybe you're just delusional and fantasize about 2D characters. Who am I to say?
You're right. Anyway, moving on to things that we're actually going to talk about. Did we have anything left from this season that we even wanted to address? Let's reference the list here. A lot of the things that we were talking about are still going.
Yeah.
Is the thing. Pretty much most things I picked up from last season are still going. Yeah, everything's still going. All right, well, moving on to, I guess, other things that are going.
Let's talk about things that are...
Let's go Hero Academia.
Okay.
Because that's a great one.
So Deku remembered he has legs.
So, I love that. So, he was like, oh shit, I have other body parts.
That I can break and destroy.
Isn't that crazy that he's like, oh shit, I've already used up my arms. It's time to fuck over these legs.
It's okay. He got some braces. It's cool.
He does have braces. Also, at this point in time, at least he knows how to use his ability.
Yeah, true.
See, imagine if Deku had known how to use his ability from the beginning.
Oh, it wouldn't be interesting at all.
Oh, it wouldn't be interesting at all, but also he'd have arms.
Yeah, he would have those arms.
He would have those arms to use.
That's very true.
But then again, like, All Might was pretty much like, yo, you should not try to be like me. And that meant don't use your arms. Because in every day...
All Might only uses his arms.
So he's
they don't show it, but when he gets around, he's actually constantly on a in a handstand running. He's just so fast that you don't notice.
That's great. Now, Midoriya was like, why don't you handstands very often? Now, come to think about it, I walk everywhere on my legs. Isn't that fucking crazy? And then he was like, I can also kick the shit out of things. And also, we haven't even gotten to this. It's been so long since we podcasted that we never even got to talk about, like, All Might being essentially not a superhero anymore at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's not a superhero. Like, he's one... They talked about this last episode, but, like, for those who... You would know. We're talking about it.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm going to be like, hey, you didn't watch this. Remember this happened? No, because you didn't watch it. But anyway, like, you know, like, after seeing All for One, like, even last episode, when The Rock was about to fall on him, they were like, All Might is someone to be protected now and not a protector. And that's crazy to think about now. Because, like, it's weird to see, like, this weak little man as opposed to being, like, the strongest hero that we've seen him as. Like, he can turn into a muscular form for, 10 seconds?
Something like that.
Like, a few minutes he can stay in that form, and then he's done. And, like, the fact that he can't even turn into that form at all is crazy.
I don't remember. Is that part of All for One? Or can he just do that?
That's part of All for One.
So...
Wait, I don't know. Like,
will Midoriya eventually be able to...
Just turn his
himself
body?
Look all muscular?
I don't think
also,
so.
How does nobody, figure out that his quirk is the same as all... Like, all their quirks have names and shit, but do they tell that to people? Like, do they have to have their quirks registered, or, like...
I don't think so.
Because it seems weird that it's always listed, and people seem to know the names of everyone's quirk, but it's like, no one happens to notice that All Might and...
I've never really thought about that, because, like, now that I think about it, like, I guess... I mean, it's not like Bakugo refers to his thing as explosion all the time. Like, Bakugo knows that he can explode things, but he's not like, oh, my quirk, explosion.
Yeah, true.
Or, like, the one guy, I can't think of his name, but, he's in Class B, and he's the asshole that always constantly, laughs at everybody, and he can steal quirks. Like, I remember at one point in time he mentioned something about his ability, but he doesn't say, like, oh, I'm, like, the quirk stealer. He says, like, oh, I can take your abilities, but, like, like, they have an actual name for it, but he doesn't actually say the real name for it. I think that's just the show and the way of telling the audience.
We know, what it is.
And, like, but then you have people like Tokoyami that's, like, pretty much like, oh, Dark Shadow is my quirk.
But it's also Dark Shadow is like
an entity of itself.
Yeah.
Like he.
Which don't even get me started on quirks and what they're supposed to be and how they work. I don't know. I hope they never get into it. Honestly.
Yeah.
I just want to have some good old superhero fun. I don't give a shit how the quirks work.
It's weird. There's like a hero that like comes eventually, and like I know that his power is like, what is it? He can manifest like anything he eats. He can like get he develops, what is it, characteristics of that object that he eats.
Okay.
And like, but I'm also thinking like, because he's a really powerful hero, I guess. This is all spoiler.
It's fine.
But I'm not gonna say who this is or anything. But I'm also thinking like, what if he ate like some Cheez-Its?
Would he just be real salty?
Would he be like
made of fresh cheese?
Fresh baked cheese. Yeah. Would he be crunchy? Mm-hmm. But then like they talk about how like he can eat like fish and like gain like gills.
What if he ate like a bunch of people? Would he just be
a person? That'd be so fucked up.
Would he just be a super average guy? Just like doesn't even have a quirk anymore.
Would it depend the person he ate?
What if he ate All Might?
Would he get all for one.
I mean, I think he would.
I guess if you ate somebody with their quirk, I guess you would gain their quirk.
So what you're telling me is this hero is is one for all. It's
Quirk
that
stealer.
person.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Also, guys.
So plot twist. We've discovered a new.
Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah, it's a pretty. That's
He's
the
like,
plot
hey,
of my hero. He's like, hey.
He goes around and says, "Hey, can I have pieces of your skin?" So I'm doing a thing here. I'm trying to get everybody's abilities.
We convinced Dobby.
If you could just like take a little convincing Dobby. Can I have part of your face, please? Hey, there's your face. Can I just rip that off? And he was like, "Yeah, sure, man."
Maybe like your bottom eyelids too.
Maybe the bottom of your mouth. Maybe your arms. Everything. You have very little skin, my friend.
I'll just take your skin. I'm gonna wear your skin.
I'll leave some skin. Just in case. Just in case you need to burn the rest off. Also thinking about it, like, it was super cool, speaking when we were talking about Tokoyami, when they're doing their, like, ultimate abilities, I really liked his, when, like, he essentially, like, put dark shadow over his body, and I was like, holy shit, you look good, and that bird face finally fits your quirk, because you can put other bird face on
over
top of your bird face.
So no one can see your bird face. Although, to be fair, no one ever addresses the bird face. It's kind of just normal.
Nobody addresses that. I think it's Davis Coda, who
is just like a weird,
like, piece
deformed.
of skin.
Yeah.
He's like a thumb. Like a thumb man with like mouth. Or like the fact that, like, the one girl is just constantly invisible. I want them to paint over her so they can show what she looks like.
But that is what she looks like. She's invisible.
But, like, she clearly has a form.
Yeah.
Because she's able to wear clothes.
So you want to see...
So wearing things makes her visible. So if they were to paint over her face, it would probably show what she looks like.
Okay. I guess that's true. I'm just like... At that point, though, it'd just be a creepy, like, blank face mask.
I feel like she would...
Person.
I guess she would look fine.
Like, could you see her eyes? What if she...
You wouldn't be able to see her eyes. I guess if you painted over her eyes, but like you'd be able to at least see like her eyes closed.
I just don't.
I just want to see what she if she has hair. Does she have hair? What would be the point of having hair if you're invisible? I would just shave it off at that point. Why even wear clothes?
Does she wear clothes? Why does she wear clothes?
She wears, like, a suit, and, like, sometimes she just wears gloves. So I'm like, I guess she's naked sometimes. I just think it's funny because, like, one time, this is during the show, where they showed, that, like, all the girls in, like, a hot tub. This is, like, one of the earlier episodes of Season 3. And they just show all of them in the hot tub, but they show a little boob imprint for, like, where she is. And that's all that they show of her, is just, like, this little bit of boob in the water. So she's got boobs.
Well, that's good.
So we know she's got boobs. They're invisible, though.
Yeah. It's pretty unfortunate. I think that might be the worst kind of boobs, is invisible ones.
I guess you're right. Well,
maybe cancerous ones. Those are probably the worst.
Well, yeah.
Your face is so disgusting.
Definitely.
I'm so sorry.
You're good.
I think I'm right, though. Like,
I mean, you're right. I guess...
That's not good. I'm not advocating.
Man boobs. Moobs are pretty bad.
But there's at least a funny side to them if you don't got them.
There's at least a funny side to them.
You can laugh at them.
But what if they're trying to trick you?
Oh.
What if you're like, oh, here's some boobs? And then
We've
you get
all
closer.
been tricked by some good old moves, dude.
I've never been tricked by moves, I'll tell you what.
Just me? Shit.
I want to get out of this conversation. Anyway, Hero Academia is great.
Yeah, it's a good show. All in all, it's the future of shonen. Can't wait to see where they're taking it from here on out.
It was also cool, like, we didn't really address this at all, but, like, last episode, I think still, like, one of the coolest things that Aizawa's ever done was when, they're talking about how, like, everybody knows Yue's ability at this new, hero. What are they doing? They're trying to get their
like, provisional
license.
Yeah.
they're like, why didn't you tell your kids pretty much that like UA's Class A is like the targets of this? And he was pretty much like, well, I don't really need to because my kids are better than that.
Yeah.
And like, obviously they're gonna kick your ass. And
like they're pretty much basically pro heroes already.
They took on pro villains at that point, so like they already know pretty much what they're doing. So whatever, fuck you. And I'm like, me too, Aizawa.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
And like, dude, I'm excited to see this arc. This arc's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Should be quite the display of various abilities. So an anime.
That's exactly what it is. It's anime.
Right.
Which is what we watch. Took the glass from me. I'm gonna drink out of it.
Okay.
What are we moving on to? What do you want next? Persona. There's not a ton to talk about. Obviously, it's Persona. Yeah, we didn't really have a ton to say about Persona. Did you play the game? If you didn't, then you're probably lost.
Exactly.
You probably don't know what's going on. It's weird because like I thought Persona was doing very good in quality, and I feel like it almost kind of dropped in quality a little bit, at least animation wise.
It definitely did.
There's a lot of derpy animation.
Yeah. I still can't get the image out of my head of like that one close up they show of like the protagonist's face where it looks like his eyes are facing two different directions. It's stuck in my head like
Ryuji's skull mask looks really bad sometimes.
I haven't been paying that close
When they show him at a distance sometimes, they'll draw his skull mask very shittily and they'll draw just two circles for eyes and that's it. And I think it was fine this episode, at least the previous episode, because like right now like they're going through like it's weird because like the way that they're pacing it is kind of weird because I'm pretty sure they're on like episode 14 or 15 at this point in time, and they only have 9 more episodes to complete the series in general,
and they don't even have like all the fandom thieves together.
No, they still have. So there's still this palace.
They're missing like 3 of them, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And then 3 is the end, and then even after the end, if they're doing the true ending, then there's still another, like, 2 palaces after that. So, like, plus, like, the end of the story in general. And, like, a lot of people keep saying that they're going to change the end of the story. And, like, I kind of hope they do, because, like...
Because there's no way they're going to be able to...
As someone who has played the game, I know that the ending for some characters is not the best. And I had a different outlook on that, and I hope that they change it so that something better happens to these characters. These people who have played Persona will know exactly what I'm talking about, and I hope the best for this person, and this person is an angel. They also had an episode, like, recently that, like, didn't happen in the anime. Well, it did happen in the anime. They did, like, I mean, the game. They did a bunch of, like, social link episodes recently, which was just, like, basically you... In the game, when you were trying to, like, possibly be in a relationship or upgrade the amount of, like friendship level you were with somebody, you would do their, like, storyline.
Yeah.
And...
So the episode was just them, like, going through those storylines?
Yeah, like, they did one with Yusuke where it was just, like, him trying to find his artwork and trying to get out of his slump, and, like, that was the Yusuke social link part. And then they did Makoto's social link part next, which was that entire thing, like... That's what you did in order to get, like, close to Makoto if you wanted to date her. And, like, or I guess just be friends. I dated her every time because I love Makoto. But, like, yeah. Dude, I love Makoto. Goddamn. I'm also happy that in the last episode they showed the part where she was really afraid and she was, like, clenching onto the protagonist. And I was like, ugh. Like, I just love that. Even in the game... Even no matter who you end up with, they still make it seem like if you didn't end up with her, that if they did make a series, she's probably the person you would actually have a relationship with.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, and it's definitely starting to take root.
Yeah, for sure.
Show.
Yeah. I love it.
I tried to come up with like a funny, sarcastic subtitle for Persona. Didn't work.
Great.
I'm very...
Okay.
Yeah, it's.
That's great. Moving on. What else is airing still?
Steins Gate.
Oh shit, Steins Gate. Yeah. So, Steins Gate has been great. So like I talked about. I think this is the last time I talked. I played the game and there was a lot of stuff that I was very unfamiliar with because kind of disappointed with, because I thought that when I was playing the game, I was playing what would have been the true story, and I was upset that they didn't do a lot of like certain things that I was hoping for. Now that I've played the game several times, it's weird. So I've played 3 different times now, completion of different endings, and I've noticed now that I've never done the true ending. And it's like super weird, because I was like, oh, the anime is inaccurate and bad. But now I'm like, I don't know if the anime is inaccurate and bad, because I've never played the actual true storyline. So right now, from what I'm seeing, like, it's different every time. So I don't know. Like, even in the original game, like the 3 storylines that I played. So like right now, you're doing with like Kagari being evil. Like, her snapping being, like, kind of like a sleeper agent. But for a while, she was just, like a normal girl who didn't have memories.
Yeah.
And...
So, you know.
Normal girl.
No, normal girl. Is that mean? I feel like that might... Like, I thought it was funny at first, but that might be kind of mean.
Normal girl. No memory. But...
It's not right.
It's not. But anyway, like... In the 3 storylines that I've played through so far, like, right now, the current Kagari you're seeing, which is, like, in the mask, like, in a leather suit Kagari who's, like, bent on killing people, that is the Kagari I've seen for the past 3 arcs.
Hell yeah.
So, like, never actually seen this version. I know that it exists, because I've seen clips of it. So I know that there is the line, which is probably the true storyline that they're doing, obviously, where she is good, but... Seeing it so far, I've realized that, like, I don't know, I haven't played the actual story to know anything, so, and I keep seeing bits and pieces in the game, that did happen in the anime, but, like, they happened at a weird time, and, like, I can tell that, like, certain, so, like, the 3 story arcs that I did play, like, there's a few things that all were the same per story arc. They might have happened at a different time period, later on, or like a little bit earlier than they should have, but they all did happen. Especially like this current episode with like Daru trying to get a date. It's weird because the 3 story arcs that I've played so far with Daru getting a date, there's only been 2 times where that's happened, but both times it resulted in Amane or Yuki basically saying, I feel like I don't like him. And after that, the game ends by something catastrophic. So, you didn't succeed, basically.
Yeah.
And so, this was, I guess, the true arc where she's pretty much like, yeah, I like him. And I'm sure of that. And I guess you need to get to a certain thing to get to that point. It's also just weird because in the game, because, like, since it's just a visual novel, and the only thing that can affect the story is you answering phone calls, is just, like, bizarre.
Yeah.
That me answering and doing certain things just, like, fuck up the entire storyline. Also, I realized that, so, like, for a long time, I thought that if I went to this specific save point, like, after this certain point in time, like, no matter what line you were playing, the game would be the same up to this point, and I just had to redo certain parts of it. I realize now to get the true story, I have to, like, pretty much replay into the beginning of the game for it to go, because I fucked up something in there. And, like, even if you don't fuck up, if you fuck up again later, you won't get the true story. So it's like you have to do every single thing right in order to get it. And
just play along with the show. You'll get it.
Because I was, like, so confused the first time I played, because I was like, oh, by the way, everyone's dead, and you didn't do anything correctly. And I was like, how? I'm playing a visual novel. I'm just reading what they're telling me. And, like, if the phone rings and, like, Amadeus is trying to call you, you would think to answer it. But why would you not have any reason to not answer it?
PTSD?
Plus, I'm like, I want to talk to Makise. Are you kidding me? Like, could he just call me? Like, oh shit, hit me up.
But it is an AI.
Yeah, I know. You like my pin?
I do like the pin.
Yeah. Right over her. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's because I have a Kurisu figure in front of my mic.
Yeah.
And I have a little Amadeus pin that I got from that collector's edition of Steins Gate Zero.
It's real nice, real nerdy.
It is
Pretty fitting for the theme of the show, I think.
Yeah.
Along with your clean Levi.
I do like my clean Levi and clean Aaron. They are getting the place very clean.
Yes.
They're not. Hang on, I need to move this though. This needs to be more down. That's correct. There we go.
Yes,
got a broom, got the duster. We're good to go.
Hell yeah.
And we got Bakugo on the side of here. We got a little Reaper from Overwatch.
That's not anime though, so
But-
we'll skip over that for now.
But we love Overwatch.
Oh, of course
And
we
Overwatch
do.
has so many anime influence.
I suppose so.
They do.
Okay,
Yeah.
if you say so.
Hammond actually is an anime influence.
Really?
Hammond is like in a way that they talked about. They're actually there's a anime from like early 2000s, like early 90s, I think. I forgot what it's called.
Hamtaro?
Hamtaro. Yeah.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
Holy
Hamtaro.
shit, hell yeah.
Yeah, Hamtaro is a big influence on Hammond.
Well, that
His
makes
name
sense.
is Hammond.
They're both hamsters.
Hammond, Hamtaro, you know.
I can't remember now. So, was Hamtaro about hamsters that were ninjas, or am I remembering a dumb parody where there were hamsters dressed like Naruto characters?
I never watched Hamtaro, but I'm assuming that it possibly could have to do with the ninjas. I think either way, you're correct.
I just can't remember if it was.
I feel like Hamtaro would have just been a series of a chibi hamster doing weird things, and that's probably the best description I can possibly give you.
I don't see how that could be wrong.
No, I don't see it either.
I mean,
then again, I don't know enough about it, but I mean, like, that's what we got.
Pretty sure that's right.
All right. Moving on to other things. What else have we watched? Is that everything for this season that was currently airing?
I think so.
Yeah. We good?
So let's move on to next season.
So new this season that we're watching is, I'm just gonna list them off and we'll start from there. So Hanebado, Cells at Work. Don't know the Japanese name. Something you know. And then Attack on Titan, obviously.
Yes.
I think that's about it.
Yeah.
For most of the things that we're watching this season. Mm-hmm. I wanted to get into more things. I have not fully looked into what is good so far. What were you watching? Were you watching Angel of Death? Mm-hmm. Is it good?
It's nothing spectacular. It's caught my fancy. You know.
Caught your fancy.
It's nothing I'm super invested in. I'm kind of just watching it to see where it goes. I'm nothing spectacular in terms of story or animation as of yet. I'm not a good judge of animation though, so I might be wrong about that. That's something you'd be able to determine way more than myself. But
I mean to ask people what to watch because like this season, since there wasn't a ton of stuff that like I was like pumped to watch. Like spring was so good just because I had so many things that I already knew I was gonna watch, and didn't pick up a ton of things that I already like didn't know about. Like this, like last season, it was like a ton of season 2s or like continuations of series, or like obviously like for Persona, it was an adaptation of the game that I already knew about.
Yeah, I feel like everything that I want to watch this season is a continuation of something I've already been watching. Not like nothing really new.
Let's do Hanebado. Just because I have a lot to say actually on Hanebado. So there's only been 4 episodes, right? So far?
I thought it
3?
was 3.
3?
Yeah, 3.
Okay.
It'll be 4 Saturday.
I thought it was 4 already.
I mean, maybe I don't fucking know. But it's very good. I know you wanted to talk about some of the parallels that it shares with Haikyuu, which I think I know, like, for the most part, what you're going to say.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm enjoying it very much from what I've seen so far. I really think something that caught my eye about this show in particular is like I think all the lighting in the show is done very well.
Yeah, definitely.
Like something that I've noticed that actually sets it apart from Haikyuu is I don't quite know the words to like put this in, but the way it's like I don't want to say shot, but like the direction of it is more dramatic. There's more like.
Oh, it's definitely meant to be more dramatic than Haikyuu.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Like the thing I really like about it, mostly in terms of animation, is that the animation is so smooth. Like especially when they're playing badminton, it's like motions are so smooth when they're moving around and so realistic.
Yeah, they really are.
For a long time, like I remember hearing a couple people that were talking about this that were like, I'm afraid to watch the first episode of Hanebado just because I saw the trailer, and since the animation was so fluid, I was just expecting it to be like the first episode was very fluid, and then after that it kind of dropped. But like so far, like obviously you don't need a ton of animation sequences for when they're just kind of walking around and talking to each other. But like the moment it kicks into gear of them playing in a match, it's so nice. And
there were a few moments where like while they were playing badminton, and it was mostly like when they're showing characters moving from like straight on, and for some reason the animation reminded me of like the terrible animation that they use for Ruby, where it's like all 3D, and like that happened a few times, and not that it was that bad, but just like the way the character was moving and like the way they kind of felt like they look like they're almost like separate from the set they're moving around in. I guess that's just a different type of animation. Like I don't know anything about that, but that was one thing I noticed. I was like, huh. But other than that, fucking spectacular.
Okay, fair.
And not even that it looked bad. It's just the way that they moved and were set apart, like, just was reminiscent.
Gotcha. The main thing that I was going to say about it being compared to Haikyuu was, so right off the bat, you get basically a rivalry between two people that end up having to join the same team. Sounds really familiar, right?
Yeah, sure does.
And then after that recently, there's a lot of, like, I've seen a lot of feathers, which also reminds me of Haikyuu just in general. But, there was one other thing that I thought about recently that was just, like, I don't know, the main character kind of, like, I forgot her name. She kind of reminds me of, like, what would be Hinata. The other main character kind of reminds me of someone who would be, like, Kageyama.
Yeah.
Oh! This most current episode. So, if you remember in the original, like, part before they had really met Nekoma in Haikyuu, there was a scene where Hinata gets lost outside and like was running and then runs into Kenma from Nekoma. And they're talking for a really long time. They're having like a good time with each other. And then after that, he puts on his Nekoma bag. It was pretty much like, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to play you. And that's what kind of made me seem... Like, remember when she went out to go to the gas station, I think?
Yeah.
And she runs into that one girl, and they're talking and having a very good time, and then suddenly they realize that, oh shit, you're a person I'm going to be playing.
Yeah.
And that's where it was like, okay, well, great. So you have this character who just had to team up with kind of like a mortal enemy, and then suddenly has to play a character who they thought they were friends with, and suddenly are against each other. Seems a lot like Haikyuu and Hinata's situation.
Yeah, for sure. I think another interesting parallel between this and Haikyuu is that the two characters that are rivals have... One of them is someone who is very skilled at the game, considered a prodigy almost, while one of them, although they, like, while the other one loves the game, they have some type of physical trait that other people see over their skill.
Yeah.
And it happens to be related to height with both Hinata and what's the
Kageyama?
No.
What's her name?
Yeah.
I don't know her name.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I could not tell you any of the names from Hanebado so far.
The short-haired girl.
I know.
So I thought that was very interesting. That although in Hinata's case, his physical trait that people focus on makes him worse at the game, or like worse, quote unquote. In people's perspective, essentially, whereas the person whose name is escaping our grasp at the moment, people look at her physical abnormality, quote unquote, as something that benefits her and makes her better, and so they overlook the actual skill that she has. So it's kind of like an interesting parallel, but with a neat little reversal there.
Yeah.
In the challenges that two of the characters in this rivalry are facing.
I have a question for you. Do you think Hanebado in any way so far is gay?
No, but I'd be down for that.
So, like, during this episode at one point in time, like, they're riding in, like, a bus on their way to, like, what is their current place that they're playing at, which is, like, where they're at the end of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, in anime, it's kind of hard for me to tell when it's, like, a bunch of girls together if they're, like, whenever they blush, if it's by embarrassment or if it's because they like somebody. And during this episode, the main girl who has, like, the little short ponytail,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
At one point in time, that one girl's like, "Oh my god, let me do your hair," and she like blushes a lot during it, and is like kind of caught off guard by it. And I didn't know if that was embarrassment or if she's just gay.
I think it's probably just embarrassment.
And then the other girl with the short hair
a whole lot of gay undertones from
also
the show.
does the same blush thing whenever they're like, "Oh, you look good in this," and I'm like, I don't know, they could be gay for all I know.
I mean, maybe they are. I'd be on board.
Also, it's weird in this series because you have all the girls who are playing badminton, but then you have the random two dudes that are like on the team,
and they're just there.
Yeah, I'm like, do you guys play with them or like what? I don't know. I don't know nothing about badminton.
Maybe they just love badminton and also girls.
I don't know.
But they probably wouldn't be allowed to just hang around.
Like, they also had to, like, play college students during that part instead of hang out with everybody else.
Another thing about Haikyuu, like, another parallel, the coach is an alumni from the school that's...
Oh, yeah. He's also, like, a blonde dude. But he also wants to run it.
Yeah,
as
true.
Opposed to, what's his name, who did not want to run it in Haikyuu. It took them forever to convince him.
I also, like, watching the first few episodes... I was getting kind of like, I don't want to say I was getting heated. Like, obviously the whole show is leading up towards Ayano. Is that the
Ayano? Ayano's the main protagonist in a way.
It's all about like them trying to get her to actually play badminton. But I feel like if somebody was trying to get me to constantly do something that I was like, hey, I don't want to do this. This isn't like I'm not having fun doing this. And they kept trying. I'd be like, hey. You're an asshole. Stop trying to get me to do this. I told you I don't want to fucking play badminton. But they just keep, like, I get that the whole thing of it is, like, she actually does like it. But it seems like kind of a bold assumption. Just in my opinion. Just in real life.
It's also, like, right off the bat of the series, for, like, the first, like, 3 episodes, like, Haikyuu is very fun and playful. There's definitely a very, like, serious part of Hanebado that was not in Haikyuu. And, like, obviously these are 2 different series, so, like, it's hard to compare the 2. But, like, there are similarities. Yeah. But, like, fucking God, they take this thing so seriously. Jesus Christ. It was such a, like, a tense, like time for, like, 3 episodes of them just trying to convince her and trying to get these 2 to play with each other and, like, just, like... Oh, I don't want to play badminton because badminton was apparently enough for my mom to just leave me. Which, like, what Allegedly. The fuck? Like, what the fuck? Like, my mom was just like, oh, I'm leaving you guys to go play badminton.
Her mom just really loves badminton.
And loves it so much that she's like, I'm not going to talk to my daughter for the rest of my life. I don't know how it works in Japan. I still feel like if you leave your family, you will talk to your daughter. Especially if you're an international champion and, like, is on TV all the time. And you think they'd be like, hey, we know you have a daughter. Like, where's she? And she's like, I don't...
badminton?
And she's like, I don't fucking know what that girl's doing. And I'm just like, okay, like, that's weird. I don't know. And plus, like, now they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, this weird blonde girl who's from Denmark?
Yeah.
Is like, oh, you're my sister. But also, like, you're a foreigner, so, like, how are you...
I think
is she half Japanese then?
I guess so. I think the whole thing of it is, like, the mom moved away and probably, like...
Had a child? And the child's the same age? Which implies that the daughter was pretty much born at the same exact time as her other daughter, which can't happen because she could not be pregnant at the same time.
Maybe her dad got around. But then why would she play badminton? Does the dad like badminton? There's not.
We don't know. We know nothing
Yeah,
about the dad. The dad's not around. The dad's pissed because she cheated on him apparently, and had multiple kids.
We'll figure out the timeline, and
I'm sure they'll go into it more.
Yeah,
but like
figure
it's just weird because they made her pretty much seem like, oh, it's weird because you're a foreigner on an exchange program. Not like, oh, you look kind of Japanese. It was like, no, you look like you're definitely from somewhere else. Like, you don't look Japanese at all. I guess that can happen if you're, like, half.
Yeah, especially, I mean, she's blonde.
I guess. It's weird. It's not what I expected. I thought it was just going to be like I played you years ago in, like, a match and you beat me, but you don't remember me. That's what I thought was leading up to.
Yeah.
But then it was like, no, I'm your sister. And it's clearly, like,
anime. It's classic anime trope.
It's also clearly like she is the daughter of her mom.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely said the whole
she
bow
put
tie thing.
she put the bow tie thing on. And obviously from the ending that I showed you, I guess she's also eventually going to put the bow tie thing on again.
Yeah.
On her hair.
I guess it's like a whole symbolism. The
like,
bows.
Yeah, you know. Moving on, I like it so far. Like it's definitely it's definitely good. It's
I have
just
high
like
hopes for it.
Just like it's not Haikyuu. Haikyuu made me feel good every episode.
Dude,
I came out feeling so inspired every single episode of Haikyuu. No matter what it was. I tried to play volleyball. Yeah, I tried to play volleyball on my own.
I finally finished the last season right before my family reunion with my brother.
Yeah.
And on the way there, I was like, yo, we're going to dominate everyone in volleyball. Because he used to play.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
And he was like...
He was like, what? He was like, yeah, we're going to just smash the volleyball court, dude. We're going to annihilate everyone. Hell yeah.
And he was like, okay, sure. Alright, welcome to Katasuno.
Yeah.
You made it.
That's pretty much exactly how it went.
What's the last... Oh, we have two more things to talk about, and then we're out of here. So, Cells at Work.
Feel-good anime of the century.
Yeah, like, honestly, I have a good time watching that anime.
Plus, educational as hell, dude.
Dude, educational. If you want Osmosis Jones in the form of an anime, here it is. Everybody remembers Osmosis Jones, indefinitely. We all remember that movie from 2001 that was involving a very creepy man inside of the thing with a pill. We all remember it.
Oh, that's right. His companion was a pill.
Was a pill, yeah.
How does he last that long? Well, actually, I guess it's all relative. Like, what if that whole film actually takes place? Actually, how... See, now I'm just thinking about the time scale of Osmosis Jones. What have you done?
We don't think about the time scale of Osmosis. It's weird to think that movie was almost 20 years ago.
Yep. That just hit my heart.
Didn't that just hit your life so hard just now? Yep. Thinking about how old Osmosis Jones are and how old you are? We're not even that old.
Osmosis Jones is probably dead, dude.
You're almost 22.
Yeah, in August.
Yeah, I'm almost 22. When's your birthday?
August 25th.
I know.
Why did you add word?
I was just making sure. It's like Noah's birthday. This is a friend of ours. This is a random side note podcast. I always think that Noah's birthday is the 27th of July and not July 17th.
Okay.
So every year
He's in Europe. Who cares?
He's not in Europe. He's back.
Not? When did he get back?
I don't know. I talked to him recently.
Oh, shit.
He wants to hang out. You want to hang out? Want to hang out with Noah?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, same. Me too.
I may be on that guy.
Me too. Either way.
Right, enough from our personal life. Cells at work. Red blood cells. Platelets. Hella cute.
Oh my god. The platelets are so cute. Those are like the most adorable thing ever. And they fix they're doing the little scab thing. Remember they had the big hole and they plug it up and they're just like, all right.
They just get everyone together.
Oh, and when they're moving the big box,
they can't unload it because they're so small. Why would you get such small creatures to unload?
What a wholesome anime. like, but also violent.
Yeah, very gory.
A
Lots
lot
of
more
blood.
A lot of blood.
How do viruses and blood have blood?
Well,
Why do
who
the blood
knows?
cells have blood?
I love it. How do trillions of white blood cells find the same red and white blood cell at the same time? And they're like, by the way, I'm probably never gonna see you again. And then like a day later, they're like, oh hey, it's you again.
And also, like, if the people are the cells and they live in the body, then what are the buildings? Are those not cells?
I'm
Do
sure
they live
cell
in, like-
walls.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
What is that? 87.
Probably, to be
Okay,
honest.
cool.
He said hell yeah so many times tonight. And in this term, this boy is saying it, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. It's a whole. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about the weirdness.
Anyway.
So how about those big boys?
Those big boys. I think it's funny because, like, Scott hadn't watched the episode recently. And I was like, did you watch the episode? And he was like, I think so. What happened? And I was like, I can say anything, but did you see, like, a crying guy? And then he became, like, a big guy.
Oh.
And then Scott was like, no. And I was like, you'll get it if you saw it. And definitely.
No, I'm not talking about that big boy.
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about the shifting big boys.
Oh, Attack on Titan?
Yeah.
Oh. Are we done here? Are we done with
Oh, I thought we were done.
Pretty much. It's a great anime. I mean, so far, like, Cells at Work, it's good. I like the characters. What's her name? Who's the red blood cell? I think she's called Red Blood Cell.
She has, like, a official label, but it's a bunch of letters and numbers. I couldn't remember.
She is so cute.
Hell yeah.
She is, like, the cutest anime girl, and I'm just like, oh my god, I love her so much. She's so... Like, I don't know. She has like a specific archetype in anime where it's like she's cute, but she doesn't really know what she's doing, but also like she's helpful in certain ways, and I'm just like I'm rooting for her.
Yeah, everyone is. You
yes.
can't not root for that girl.
But moving on, so we can wrap up this podcast. Attack on Titan. It's good.
Yeah, it's very good. I've been having a lot of interesting thoughts about it. Because this is the first anime that I'm watching as it airs, but I've already read the manga of it, and it's a weird experience.
How does that feel? Because that's me for most things.
Okay. It's strange. I mean, it's satisfying to see it all animated.
You're lucky you got a good anime for this, to be honest. Because most of the time I'm, like, disappointed.
Really?
Because I'm like, you didn't do this, or you didn't do this.
That's true.
Or, like, you did this in a weird sense.
I almost feel like I've cursed myself. Like, what if they...
So far from what I've seen from, like, last season when I was reading Attack on Titan, I was like, holy shit, everything is so accurate. It's very accurate. I don't think they'll ever leave anything out.
I hope they don't. I mean, fuck, with the amount of time it takes them to
Yeah, plus Attack on Titan's not an anime that has a lot of filler.
Yeah,
nothing filler.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, everything's important. What were you saying?
Mostly just that it's satisfying to see all the action sequences animated and to hear new characters and how they're voiced, and I've been very happy with.
I really like
Attack
Kenny's
on
voice.
Titan. Yeah, I think it's pretty much perfect.
It's like exactly.
It's pretty much
what I was
exactly
expecting.
how I picture. Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, Levi. I was like, oh shit.
I mean, what else? It's Attack on Titan. What else can you fucking say about it?
Yeah, it's also weird.
It's great.
It's weird to see like characters that like I've completely forgotten about. Like,
oh yeah.
Like I was bringing. I think I talked about this recently, where like I was talking to somebody that like hadn't read the series and they hadn't really seen much past like the first season of Attack on Titan, and they're like, "Oh, but I'm so sad about Petra dying," and I'm like.
Who?
I'm like, yeah, who in the fuck is that? Like, at this point in time, Petra is so beyond me at this point in time with where I am in the series. Like, shit, I've lost way more than Petra. You kidding me?
Oh,
oh my god. And like, it's weird. I remember, so like, there's that red hair girl who is not a main character who gets shot in the first episode in Attack on Titan by Kenny.
Yeah.
And like, I forgot about her. And like, I actually like almost had to look her up after the show ended because I was like I don't remember her, and like, is she main? Because like the way she looks, she is designed to be look like a main character.
She's
and
more
I was
standout-ish.
like, oh, you kind of stand out a bit more. Maybe you're gonna stay, and like maybe I just don't remember you. But then she was shot immediately, and then I was like, oh yeah.
Oh, that's why I don't remember you.
That's why I don't remember. You were killed in like 2 seconds.
I remembered you with the bullet in your face.
Yeah, that's
and it wasn't
right.
there. But now that it's there, I see it's you.
Oh shit, you're that person.
The one with
the bullet in your face. Either
Although
way,
to be fair, that description could be applied to a lot of people in this season.
You are fucking right, dude. Like, it's always weird to think, because, like, you have, like, I can always tell the people who are gonna die, because they're introduced, and then they're there for a little bit.
Just enough.
Just enough to give their lives for the main characters.
Oh, of course.
Like, obviously you have exceptions that are, like, who's a good... It's weird to think that everyone's like, oh my god, I wish Marco was alive.
Who?
Do you remember Marco?
No.
You don't remember Marco?
No.
So like it's weird. So like Marco was part of the cadet corps, the cadet corps originally, and like he was the one who like he died and like they found his body like half eaten.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and you remember, obviously you read it. You
Yeah.
remember what they did, what happened.
I don't, but you can tell me later.
All right. Anyway, but like a lot of people for a long time were like, oh shit, I wish Marco was still around. And I'm like, yeah, I guess, but like at this point in time, that shit does not matter. Especially, although I will say recently there has been something that happened that has affected what I think about Attack on Titan. Because now we're getting closer to the end in the series. Yeah.
I haven't read.
You need to read.
All right, we'll talk about it.
You're 2 chapters behind, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking, it's been wild. Attack on Titan is wild. I'll tell you what. For anybody who has not read it, fucking read.
Please do. Like, read it. It's worth it.
It is definitely worth it. Like for a while, I think it's funny because, there was somebody at my work that was like, talking to me pretty much about like, oh, like I don't really like Attack on Titan because it's so mainstream, and like pretty much saying like, I don't really like it just because, like, it's the one anime that, like, everybody on Earth knows if you don't watch anime or not. And I don't really want to be involved in the crowd of, like, people who don't really know what the anime culture is like.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't think Attack on Titan expresses the way that anime is. And I'm like, to be fair, that's kind of right. Because, like, Attack on Titan also doesn't have anime tropes, really. Yeah. It's all seriousness pretty much all the time. And
that's still just so immature, though.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. And then I was like, I don't care. Read it and watch it, and you will have a different experience of this. And then, sure enough, they read it, and they were like, Jesus Christ. Like, even the amount of anime I've seen, Attack on Titan is definitely my favorite.
Yeah. Like,
and I'm like, fair. Like, it's popular for a reason.
Exactly. A good story is a good story. It's like,
to be fair,
I find a lot... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Like, to be fair, though, then you have, like, stuff that's really popular, like SAO, which, obviously, as much as I love anime, SAO is a kind of a starter anime.
Yeah, for sure.
But, like, after you've watched enough anime, you realize that SAO is not going to be your favorite anime.
Pretty much never
But it's still
is.
considered, like, a top anime. And I'm like, I guess. Sure. If you've watched 5 different animes in your life.
Yeah, exactly.
That's about it. But anyway, with Attack on Titan, I am super fucking excited, especially for Kenny. This whole season is going to be great. Next episode is going to be very good because I can think about what's happening right now. I'm just like, fuck. Levi is going to be the most badass character in this season.
Also, like he's not already the most badass character in the whole show.
Well, you're right, but
I mean, almost by definition, he is.
It's weird to think. Also, so like, you know how Attack on Titan has had like pretty good openings for the past 3 seasons. Did you listen to the opening for this season?
Yeah, it was very
slow.
Like,
yeah, and like
I forgot I wanted to touch on that.
And like didn't fit. Really?
Yeah, and
like it did fit in a way. But, like, didn't fit, like, the Attack on Titan aesthetic that they've been doing so far.
I mean, the previous 2 openings, like, all their openings in the past have almost had, like like they almost gave off very majestic, like
Intense.
Intense, like militaristic vibe to me, especially for season 2.
Season 2 had a great opening.
Yeah. I don't remember thinking it was bad, but definitely different and set apart from Attack on Titan. Although it definitely makes sense considering kind of the content of the season that they would change up what like how they're opening it. Although
we can't say.
Yeah,
it's hard.
It's not a perfect fit, but I think it makes sense that they're switching it up because the main problem that is being addressed in the season is different than what it typically is. So it makes sense that they're trying to change up the tone in the opening.
I can see that. This is going to be a good season. This is going to be a season of not fighting titans, fighting people.
Fighting those people.
And I'm ready for it.
I do it every day.
I'm wondering how many episodes are going to be in this season. Because
last season was like 23, 24?
No, last season was 13.
Really?
They only had 13 episodes last season.
Well, and I hope it's longer than that.
The beginning of the original series was 24, 25?
It was 25.
25.
I remember because I was stuck on that episode for a very, very long time. Until it was like, fuck it, I'll watch subs.
You were that guy back then, weren't you?
I still was that guy.
Yeah, well...
Hey, nothing wrong with that guy.
Dubs?
Yeah.
There's a lot wrong with that guy.
We'll talk. We already had
the Attack on Titan dub wasn't too bad. I think I actually watched the original series like twice before I watched the sub. The only person who like took me a while to get used to when I was watching the dub originally, because the sub originally was Armin's voice. Yeah, Armin's voice took me a while to get used to after watching watching the dub, because I actually really liked the dub voice for Armin. But then I was like, oh, subs are better, and I should be real about it. That was also like
years ago,
like 5 years ago at this point in time. So I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter. That was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna 6 years ago at this point. Now that I'm thinking about it. Anyway, we're wrapping this up right now. But stay tuned. We're gonna. So this season we'll be watching, so far at least. So, continuing with Hero Academia, Persona,
Steins Gate,
and then starting Hanebado, Cells at Work, Attack on Titan. Is that it? Right?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like we might have left something out.
That's fine.
But either way, we'll cover it next time. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out on our dead Twitter, which I get to every now and again. For anybody who's into graphics, check out our Discord for the graphics. What is it? Famiglia? I forgot what it was.
What?
Yeah, Graphics Famiglia. Did you know that? It used to be Graphics Guild, and then it was changed because we changed the hierarchy. I forgot what was going on. Anyway, if you even got to listen to the last hour and 18 minutes, which I don't think you did, but you listened to like 5 minutes of this podcast, and then it was like, oh shit, there's a view on YouTube. And then I realized that you didn't finish it at all. But for anybody else, as me and Scott listening to this podcast, thank you for tuning in.
And for Shane and I listening to this in the future, how's it going?
How's it going, man? I bet I will be listening to you in the next couple of days, because I will be, because I have to edit this podcast. Anyway, you can also follow me on my Tumblr at Nijima's Mikoto. I've actually had the same exact URL now for months.
I thought... whatever.
It changes all the time. This is the first time I've kept it this way for a while. Actually, haven't been on Tumblr in a while. Don't make as many graphics as I used to. Anyway, we're popping out. Have a good night, everybody. And we'll see you in a month. Have a good night. You gonna say anything, Scott?
No.
Okay. Thanks, asshole. Good night.